It's Movie Time is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. For their details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.org.
It's Movie Time is produced by John DeSando. Listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm King Kevin Carr.
Yeah, I would think so if people were watching the video of this with Kevin's crown. Well, anyway, this is the very regal It's Movie Time. One of the most nostalgic moments for me is to go to YouTube and listen to Richard Burton singing Camelot.
Yeah.
Is it anything like this new movie, King Arthur? What's the whole title? King Arthur. Oh, Legend of the Sword.
Yes, Legend of the Sword. Yes. There's less singing in this.
Like.
C'est moi.
It's Guy Ritchie is the director. That's what makes the difference between this and the 1,000 other iterations of the Arthurian legend. And how does Ritchie make it different?
Well, he basically makes it like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, taking place in medievalish times with giant elephants, and I don't quite know what's happening in this movie.
It's a mashup, man, of the Arthurian legend, taking an awful lot of mythical license with the story.
A lot.
I mean, really, it's the backstory of Arthur.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of when they did that Robin Hood movie about when Ridley Scott did that one like 7 or 8 years ago, or when they did, you know, when they have movies where they're like, okay, we're just going to do the beginning of it, or it's not like a Batman Begins, but still something like that.
Yeah.
Where you're telling the lead up to how he becomes King Arthur, and that's really what it is. But the thing that I found disappointing, and I have to just say this from the beginning, for a movie that's supposed to kind of be the beginning,
yes,
there's a lot of flashbacks in this movie to what I would think would be a more entertaining movie.
Right.
Because they're constantly having to give the backstory of his father, Uther Pendragon.
Yes, and in typical Ritchie fashion, it's all montage, right? Expository montage.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
But he did this, didn't he, in Sherlock Holmes, and probably Man from U.N.C.L.E.? I mean, aren't some of these things like his freeze frames, his...
he has, those techniques he uses.
Yes, the telescopic crash zoom, you know, there are all things that are pretty common. But I think telling the story, for me, when he does his montage, is just a signal that he's so darn lazy about developing character.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is a good montage is good. I mean, we've seen plenty of good ones in there, but this is not exactly, you know, Julia Roberts buying dresses on Rodeo Drive. This is just this important backstory.
Yes, it is. I know.
And like him training, like he has to go in these mountains and fight these creatures, and it's like they kind of just rush through it to get them to sit there and talk in a room.
In the Darklands, I think he had to go.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's so funny. They're like clips from other movies that they're just slipping in there.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, I kind of wanted to see that movie. Not this one.
Right, not this one.
That they have, and that's, like I said, you know, it's known to say, and you said this, that sometimes montaging a story can be lazy writing.
Yeah.
And I know that Guy Ritchie does stuff like that, but he has so many different types. So usually in his stuff, especially like even in like Sherlock Holmes and his earlier stuff like Snatched and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, they'll have two people talking, this is what we're going to do, this is the plan, and then they flash into it. That's very Guy Ritchie. But then there's parts of it that just... It's like they had a 5-hour movie and said, oh, we need to edit this. Or they were shooting a TV show. That's actually what it felt like. That it was a TV show, and then they said, yeah, no, we're not going to do 6 episodes of this. We're just going to do a movie.
But listen, no TV show could put up with this blue-gray palette for long. I mean,
well, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but from what I understand, it's similar to that.
Yeah, right. And I think that idea, that great palette, carries through regardless of whatever sunny moments they have.
Yeah.
There's something really gray and dismal and dreary about it that I found no spirit, such as I would have thought with Arthur.
Yeah, well, and he did that with Sherlock Holmes. But I think it worked in Sherlock Holmes because you're sort of like looking at Victoria-era London where it's smoky and grimy and that sort of feel to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got the era right. Is that Victoria?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, and also, but he does have going for him a very he does have going for him a very good bad guy in Jude Law.
Yeah.
playing Vortigern, I think.
Is that his name?
You're right, Vortigern. His bad boy uncle.
Yeah.
Arthur's bad boy uncle.
They're Hamletting a bit on this, I think. But yeah.
I know it, right? And, well, Eric Bana, as long as he can be in a film, you know, there's still some continuity with all.
He plays good kings.
He does very much. And this is really, it's called Legend of the Sword. It's really about the sword.
Yeah.
As much as anything,
Yeah.
right? The water's receding and the store, the water's receding and the sword in the stone.
The Lady in the Lake.
The Lady in the Lake, right, yeah. And I like very much the Madge. Would that be right? Her name?
The Mage?
The Mage, I'm sorry. Yeah. I like very much the Mage, Astrid Berges-Frisbey.
What else has she been in? She's been in other things.
Yeah, she was in something.
I've seen her. I mean, it's got a good cast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I totally agree. I mean, even like the side cast, you know, like Jaman Hansu and, you mentioned Eric Bana and Jude Law is good. I mean, Charlie Hunnam as Arthur. There's a lot of shots of him washing for some strange reason, not shirtless even, ladies. So
yeah, I know.
You get that a little bit.
Well,
our audience.
There's partly a water motif here. If it dovetails into the idea of the baby going off in the boat, which is very much like the Moses story.
Yeah, is that from the Arthur legend? There's so much there.
Not, of course.
There's no giant elephants in the Arthur legend, is there?
Oh my gosh, these elephants are incredible. And I think somebody said he could crush King Kong.
Yeah, they were huge. They were literally castle size. It was like the elephants from Lord of the Rings weren't big enough.
Right.
It reaches a level of absurdity, and you get that with Guy Ritchie's stuff a lot. And that makes it fun sometimes, but I honestly feel, and I've said this about other films, whereas like Sherlock Holmes at least felt cohesive. And even though I didn't like Man from U.N.C.L.E., that felt cohesive. It felt like the same movie.
Right.
This felt like it was trying to do 3 or 4 different movies.
Well, yeah. And I think you alluded to it earlier on. I think this is trying to set itself up for 7 or 8 subsequent films.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have an awful lot of kind of interesting characters who will be in and out very quickly. And you say to yourself, why? Well, that's because those people will appear in subsequent iterations of this story as Arthur takes over.
You're looking for a little more Merlin, and
oh, I know.
He just kind of swerves in at one point, and I don't even think he says something.
Well, don't you think he's responsible for the mage?
I guess, yeah, that's probably
doesn't she come from Merlin? See, now here you go.
It's like another race, and that's kind of what the wizards were. I mean, if you... I don't know. I'm going to make a really bizarre comparison. There was a movie called Gem and the Holograms that came out a couple of years ago, and it was awful. And it was based on this old cartoon, and they made the movie as if it was sort of like a prequel to the cartoon. And then all the fans who wanted to see the cartoon with all of its cool stuff wasn't in there. And they're like, that'll be the next movie. I'm like, I wanted to see that movie now. And that's kind of how I felt with this one. I'm like, okay, I get it. And then they're like, oh, I mean, there's a round table in it, hint, I mean, but they I don't know, they drag things out that shouldn't be dragged out and brush through things that you wanted to take a little more time on.
Well, Kev, we've certainly been inspired by Ritchie in our little audio montage here.
Yes.
It says we've been all over the place. Now we're going to come back to our sane selves.
All right.
And the film is King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
Yes.
Kevin Carr, what grade would you award it?
I mean, it's not a terrible movie because there are some good things in there, but it's not a great movie either. I'm going to give it kind of a C-.
All right, and I'll give a little credit to the Merge, whom I like very much. He's a cutie pie, and so I'm going to award it a C, but it is no better than that.
Yeah.